Welcome to the React Diagram tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to create and customize ports in the Syncfusion React Diagram component. Ports are special connection points of a node that allow the creation of connections with only those specific points. I will show you how to create and add ports to nodes programmatically and dynamically. You will also see how to update and remove ports at runtime, add multiple ports, customize the port's position and appearance, and draw connectors using ports. I open my existing React application, to which I have added the Syncfusion React Diagram component. To know how to create a React app and add the Syncfusion React Diagram to it, refer to the video linked in the card above or the description below. I've also added a basic shape node to it. To learn how to create nodes and different types of node shapes, refer to the video linked in the description. Now I'll run the application using the npm start command. The diagram canvas is rendered with a node. Now let's create a port programmatically. Inside the first node, I add the ports property by assigning an array. Then I define a new port object with an ID of port 1. To position a port, I define the offset property. Here you can see multiple ports displayed with different offset values. 0, 0 represents the top left corner of the node, and 1, 1 represents the bottom right. 0.5 signifies the midpoint along any line in the node. You can set any fractional value between 0 and 1 for x and y properties. I set the offset to 1 and 0.5 for the port. Define the visibility property to display the port on the node. There are 4 different values: connect, hidden, hover, and visible. When I set visibility to connect, the port will be visible when a connection endpoint is dragged over a node. When I set visibility to hover, the port will be visible when the mouse hovers over a node. When it is set to hidden, the port will not be visible, and when set to visible, the port will always be visible on the node. Here I set the value to visible. Notice that the port visibility enum is imported from the J2 React Diagrams package. You can see the port is added to the node. Next, I'll show you how to create a port dynamically with a button click. Let me add a button component and set the content as add port. I also add the onClick event with an event handler. I define the add port method, and within it, create an array. Then inside the array, use the same logic for creating a port. I invoke the add ports function using the diagram instance, and pass the first node and the new port array as parameters. To add style to the button, I navigate to the app CSS file. Here, using the button selector, set a margin. When I click the Add Port button, a port is dynamically added to the node. Next, I'll show you how to add multiple ports. To add multiple ports at runtime, I have extended the Add Port function by adding 2 more ports inside the array. Clicking the Add Port button now will add multiple ports to the node. Next, I'll show you how to remove a port. I will be using the Remove Ports function to remove a port from the node. Add a button with the button text, Remove Port. Let me add the onClick event and assign an event handler. I define this remove port method. Inside, create a node variable and assign the node from the nodes collection. I cast this object into a node interface to use it in the remove ports function, as it accepts only node type parameter. To access the node interface, import it from the J2 React Diagrams package. Next, check the node's ports for null. I use the diagram instance and invoke the remove ports function, and pass the node variable and the node's ports property as parameters. Now, when I click the Remove Port button, the port is removed from the node. Next, I'll show you how to customize the appearance and position of ports by setting properties like horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, and style. I add another button to update the port properties dynamically. I set the button text to update port with an on-click event. I can update all the properties of the port dynamically. Here, I will update only the offset position of the port. I define the update port event handler. Inside, create a variable updated ports and equate the ports property from the first node. I apply null check for this variable and change the offset for the existing port. Then update the port using the same add port function by passing the appropriate parameters. Clicking the Update Port button will change the position of the port. Next, I'll show you how to customize the appearance and position of ports. By default, a port is displayed at the center of the offset position. That is, both horizontal and vertical alignments are in the center. Apart from this position, it supports combinations of right, left, top, and bottom directions. Here, the port is displayed in different horizontal and vertical alignments with offset 0, 0. I would like to set the right bottom position with the offset 0, 0. So, inside the node, I set the horizontal alignment property to right and vertical alignment to bottom. I also change the offset in x-axis and y-axis to 0. In the diagram canvas, notice the port rendered as per the customization. Next, to customize the appearance of a port, I define the style property inside the port and set the fill, stroke color, and stroke width properties. The fill property applies background color, while the stroke color and stroke width change the border. You can see the port with a different style. The default shape of a port is square. The Syncfusion diagram offers 4 shapes of ports: square, circle, X, and custom. You can modify the port shape using the shape property. Now I will show you how to set the port shape to a star. In the ports property, I add the shape property and set the value custom, define the path data property, and set the path geometry to a star shape. In the diagram canvas, you can see the star-shaped port rendered. Finally, I will explain the usage of constraints in ports and nodes. To draw connectors from the ports, I add the constraints property and set it to draw. Notice that the port constraint CNUM is imported from the J2 React Diagrams package. Then I add one more node to the nodes array with offset, height, style, and shape properties. I connect these 2 nodes by drawing a connector from the port of the first node. Notice that when I move the node, the origin point of the connector changes. In the first node, I add the default port constraints. Now I can raw connector from the port and connect the second node. Notice that the origin point remains fixed as I move the node, but the target point is not fixed. So let me add a port to the second node with a constraints property. I also change the offset property to 0 and 0.5. In the diagram canvas, I can now connect the two nodes using ports, but the connector source point and target point stay unchanged while moving. Let's wrap this video. I have shown you how to create and customize ports in a Syncfusion EJ2 diagram using React. I also showed you how to create ports programmatically and dynamically. Additionally, you saw how to add multiple ports, update and remove ports, and customize their appearance and position. If you would like to see the working example shown in this video, download it using the link in the description below. I have also added a link in the description to check whether you qualify for our license key so you can use our React products through our community license. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.